think of anything when we're going through this. Today, I don't really want to overcomplicate what I'm going to talk about today. So if you guys have any questions, throw them out there and we can dive into them. But especially around purpose and passion, when people look at their purpose and passion, you can talk all day about this. You really can. And that's what I think is one of the biggest problems. We get way overcomplicated. We overanalyze it. We take it way too far and then we do nothing. So the purpose of what I want to go through today, and I'll start shortly, is going to be really short and sweet, because I don't really want to talk about it for too long because that overcomplicates it. You already understand a lot about purpose and passion. I know you do, because I watch how you guys live out your purpose and how you live out your passion. But whenever we get to talk about it, I find, especially when I'm coaching somebody and it's happening all the time, they're really looking for that passion or that purpose, that there's this magical thing out there and I'll never know what to do. And I found this especially with people that are stuck and they won't move. They won't get out of their own way. They won't try anything different. And they keep saying, I really want to find my purpose. I really want to find my passion. And that frustrates the fuck out of me, because there is no answer like that. You don't look and here comes your passion flying through the window and you go, fuck yeah, that's it. That's what I want to do. I mean, that comes over time after you do everything that you do. You're actually, little do we know, but most people actually are living out their purpose and passion anyway. They're just failing to be grateful and live, the now and be in, be in the present moment and enjoy what they're actually doing. Because most of us pick what we want. And the way you pick your purpose and the way you pick your passion is you find something that you're not going to give up on and that you're not going to quit on. And that usually takes you to where you are. So, the biggest problem that I have when anyone says to me, I really want to work out my purpose, I really want to work out my passion. So the first thing that I like to say is, don't think that you're going to love following your passion or your purpose. Following your passion and your purpose can be fucking hard. In actual fact, not following it is hard and following it is just as hard. So quite often I say, pick your struggle, because when you go after your passion and your purpose, it's fucking hard. When you don't go after it, you have regrets, and that's hard. So, you pick the road you want to go down, but don't think you're going to wake up every day happy. Don't think you're going to jump out of bed and go, fuck yeah, I'm following my purpose. Life's awesome, because it's not like that at all. It can be seriously tough, but there's a goal, there's a purpose. And that's where the word, I find, comes from, because I want to go down this hard road and I want to do all this hard shit, because at the end of that road is my purpose. And my purpose might be freedom, it might be wealth, it might be time, it might be relationships, it might be fulfillment, whatever it is. I don't want that end result to be the end of my path. I want to actually travel along that road and be on the right track. I'm probably overcomplicating it a bit now, but I just think so many people become very delusional. And whenever you come up against someone that's looking to do their passion or their purpose, they look for the easy road. So they go, this can't be my passion because this is fucking hard. I want to be an Instagram influencer. I just want to be out there and, I want to get all these likes and comments. And you go, cool, let's do a social media strategy. Let's talk about that. Let's have a look at your engagement plan. Let's have a look at how you're an authority, and let's have a look at how you're attracting followers. And then when you start to dive into the strategy behind it and you start to say, here's the work, this is what we need to do. You want that goal, this is what you got to do. They hate that. They go, I don't know if I want that. And you go, cool, then being an Instagram influencer is probably not your passion, because too many people also look at money as the influence to their purpose or their passion. And again, if you're chasing money, you will never, ever win the game. The money has to follow the work, and you have to love doing the work. At the same time, when I say you have to love doing the work, you just have to be willing to go through the pain. I mean, what are you willing to put up with is probably the best way to put it. So are you willing to put up with a shit job? Are you willing to go to work every day? Are you willing to put up with that regret that you might ask yourself in a decade or in 2 decades? Because if you're willing to put up with all that shit, great, you're on it. The job you're doing, you purposefully got there. You enjoy it enough that you will continue to do it, and you will do it well. And you're willing to put up with and tolerate whatever that is. Now, the difference is when you're no longer willing to tolerate it. And this is where, you know, people, again, we go back to they're searching for their purpose. They're searching for the passion, and there must be one thing. There's not. It always changes. It always moves. I've found I've chased after everything I've ever wanted. I've found that when I'm willing to tolerate all of the pain to get there and to achieve that success, whether it be in a career, in a job, in fitness, whatever it is, I'm willing to put in the effort to achieve something, and down the track, I'm no longer willing to tolerate it. And so I hate using the word pivot at the moment. Everyone's fucked that word over the last few weeks, but you do have to change your direction and refocus on something new. So I've found I'm always chasing my passion and purpose, and I'm always redirecting. It comes back to that willingness just to have a go. People are so afraid to have a go at something. And I get it all the time. Hey, what do you think about this idea? Here's my idea. What do you think I should do? I'm thinking about trying it. Like straight away, my answer to that is do it. I'm not even going to read what you're thinking about trying, because that's dumb. Do it and then tell me how you went. I would much rather someone say, hey, I tried this and I fucked it up, because then I can say, great, you learned something. What did you learn? Try 50 other things. Tell me what else you failed at. Because when you tell me 50 things that don't work, you're on your way to finding out something that does work. I did it with every business I've ever done. I'm doing it now. My whole business plan and my whole direction now is more focused on what I love doing. And I'm coming back in line with what am I willing to tolerate? Because I'm not willing to tolerate a lot of shit anymore. I'm not willing to tolerate or put up with not having time to spend with Jake, or not having enough money to travel the world, or not having time to get into my shed. I love being in the shed. I love working out. You know, I'm not willing to put up with shit that won't let me train. If I can't build my body and build health and be happy inside, then I don't tolerate that. So when we start to dive into our passion and our purpose, and we start to ask ourselves those questions, you start to make, you funnel down, and you actually find that what you have to do to get those other things sometimes isn't fun. So if I have to do a shit job that allows me to be free and gives me half of my week off from working, but it makes me financially free, it allows me to travel, it allows me to do my work from wherever I want, then that's what I'll do. And when people say, are you following your passion or your purpose with that? Fuck yeah, look at my life. It's exactly what I'm doing. So there's a lot of confusion around that. You've got to wake up and be happy and absolutely love what you do. And you get all these Instagrammers and Facebook people that are happy every day saying, oh, I love my job, I love my life, it's all fucking roses. And I struggle with that shit, because I've been to enough events, I've created enough success in business, and I've coached enough people and scaled enough big businesses to realize that a lot of that's bullshit. They're all full of shit on Instagram telling you how happy they are. Go and meet someone who's made multi-million dollar companies. They struggle just like we all do. They wake up, they wonder if they're on their right path. They say, I just don't know if I can do this anymore. And that's a mindset issue that comes up with hitting new barriers. And that's something that I love to work with people, especially driven people that really want to push themselves. As soon as they hit that next level, you get self-doubt again. You go, fuck, I'm making 5 million a year, but I should be making 10 million a year, and I need to scale, and this is just a big struggle. And it's like, whoa, take a step back. Your mindset is hitting these blocks, and you're thinking you're no longer on your passion. But where did it all start? What did we want to achieve from this? Did you want to work all your life? How many people that I coach are workaholics is ridiculous. I was a workaholic. I worked my ass off for a decade, 2 decades in a career. I gave everything and completely didn't see what was around me, and one day I woke up and went, shit, I've lost 10 years. Like, I was the best at what I did, without a doubt. I loved it, and I was the best at what I did, but what did I miss out on? And because you only know what you know, it's very hard to be conscious and look back at yourself and say, what did I do wrong? I mean, I'm a driven man. I went after exactly what I wanted and I achieved it. Why did everything else fall apart around me? The idea of balance. is a huge thing, because I used to hate the thought of balance. When someone said to me, what's your life balance? Do you balance your relationships? Do you balance your job as a dad, or your path as a dad? Do you balance your life? I used to go, fuck, that doesn't make sense to me, because I'm so driven. I balance one area of life, and I used to purposefully go after business and create massive business. And then I would go, okay, now I'm going after body, and completely change my body. And I started to realize that it's so important that you do balance all of these areas, but you can do it in a very simple manner. And again, you can't lose track of all of these areas and think, okay, but I have to find passion and purpose in what I'm doing in life, because sometimes you'll find it in other areas. If you have a purpose or a passion in your relationship, then who cares what you do for work? If you're making enough money to live, or if you're making more than enough money for what you want, then that is your passion and purpose. So it's just an interesting concept that I really like to talk about. And you can actually put this back into relationships. Again, passion and purpose around relationships. Most people, if you ask them, what sort of person do you want to be in a relationship with? I know if I ask the mates, if I ask the boys around the campfire, what sort of chick do you want? And they go, oh, I want this really hot chick, and she's got to look like this, and she's got to do all this. And you go, dude, have you not been there? Have you not tried that and done that? That the answer is always, what are you willing to tolerate? What are you willing to put up with every day, and then still want to get, who are you willing to tolerate every day, and then still want to get naked with them at the end of the day? Because that's the same as business. It's not always going to be sunshine and rainbows and roses and unicorns and all that shit. It's going to be tough. But if you've got that passion behind the person or the business or whatever it is you're going after, then you'll put up with the bad days. And that's the thing that I'm seeing right now. See, there's a lot of people that are on their purpose. They don't even know it. Most people don't know it. They are already on their, they're doing something they're passionate about. But when the rain comes, or when the virus comes, or when something comes that makes it hard, they start to question it. And this is a good time where you do realize, if you are on the right track, you'll put up with whatever you've got to put up with. You'll get through the hard times. You're not chasing money. You're not after money. You're doing what you love doing. So quite often I'll say to somebody who struggles in that area, and they'll go, look, I just don't know if I'm on my passion or if I'm on my purpose. Help me find it. And the only way I can look at that is a few different ways. Like, I once asked myself, what really pisses me off? When I started, let's just go back to my app business. When I started my app business, I said to myself, what's really pissing me off about this business? And I identified that nobody was teaching you how to make money from apps. Everybody out there, there's a million developers, and they'll all teach you how to build an app. They'll program your app. They'll create the app for you. Anyone can do it because it's a technical skill. Go and learn how to build an app. It's like a computer program. There it is. But no one knew how to market them. No one knew how to advertise and make money. No one knew how to monetize in various different ways. So I went, that pissed me off, because everyone was full of shit. They all told you this app could make millions, and they would sell it to you or build it for you, but they wouldn't teach you how to market it. So that was one thing. So I said to myself, that pisses me off. Okay. And then I would say, what do I want to do about it? Well, I want to actually build what's missing from the marketplace. And what was missing from the marketplace that I was in was somebody who could actually teach you how to market and monetize an app. So I went out and learnt that shit, and I put all my time and effort, and I didn't like it. I didn't like what I was doing. When I went into the app business, I'm an investor. I love property. I love investing in property and commodities. I love trading. I love doing everything where I can make my money grow for me. So I went into digital assets simply because I Google searched it. How do you make money online? And I come up with all these different answers, and one of them was through an app. I went, oh, cool. I might have a look at an app. I don't know how to program an app or make an app, but I got into that area. So all of a sudden, I found, by diving into this niche, here was this opening where nobody was teaching people how to make money from apps. They're all telling you you can make money. None of them knew how. So I went, I'm going to learn how. And I did. I spent all of my time over, after a 14-hour day, 4 hours of commuting, I'd come home and spend 2 hours a night on a computer. And then on the weekends, I'd spend all my time on the computer. And anybody that looked at me at any time while I was building that business, they didn't see shit. But what they saw at the end of it was when I become successful and I started traveling around the world and talking about how to build a business online, and all of a sudden this end result was there, people were interested. But if I told them what I did to build that, they wouldn't do it. No one in their right mind would go through what I went through to build that business, because that was fucking hard. I had to create something that didn't exist. But it comes back to the fact that I needed to get out of what I was doing. I needed to get away from that job. I needed to create my own business. That was my purpose and my passion. It was nothing to do with how I did it. It was, I need to be my own boss. I need to be my own CEO. I need to work around results that I achieve. Because if you guys are like me, and I know a lot of you are, because I know what you guys do, you work so hard for somebody else and you never ever get what you deserve. And then you watch other people get the same as you and they work a tenth of the effort. So I knew if I went out and worked for myself, I could create something. And that was the purpose. That's the passion, not apps. Fuck, I don't even care about apps. I never did. It was the business behind it. I was learning how to build a business, solve a problem in a niche, and help people in the same position as me. And all of a sudden I helped investors. All of my clients were investors. So this is the thing. When I built this business, the avatar or the character who I was, they ended up being my clients. So I found like-minded investors that wanted to build themselves a business, that wanted to have cash flow coming in from digital assets, just to have another portfolio and build some sort of risk management system amongst their portfolio. Exactly like me. And it worked. So I created this business, it blew up, and it didn't even interest me. So after an amount of time, I started to realize that great business, now it's automated. I outsource most of my stuff, and now I can have a look at doing something else that I actually enjoy doing. So again, that's, it's where I ended up. I think, when I talk about things come and, you pivot, but you change direction. And it comes when you are following your purpose. So my purpose, if I take a step back, my purpose there was to create a business. Okay. It was to create a business where I was the CEO. I could work from my phone or my laptop anywhere in the world. I wanted to travel. I wanted to make enough money to cover everything. That was my purpose and passion. It wasn't what I did. If someone told me I had to do some really laborious, absolutely shit job, I still would have done it. That doesn't bother me. The work never, ever worries me, as long as I'm going after what I want. So I built this business, it worked. And then I realized I've now worked out a system, and I developed a system, because while I worked with clients, more problems come in. So then I had to solve new problems. And when I solved new problems, I built new systems. And all of a sudden I had this business plan. I never wrote a business plan to build this out, mind you. I never do. I don't sit there and spend weeks or months writing a business plan about a business that doesn't even exist yet, because you don't even know if it's going to work. You don't even know if people want it. So I go out and learn by trial and error. I want to do this, do it. Did that work? No. Did that work? No. Did that work? Yes. Cool. And then I start to build it. And at the end of my business was when my business plan was created and my systems were created. And then what I did is I picked them up and I dropped that entire system on e-commerce. And I went, let's just see if I can do the exact same thing in another area. Let's sell shit online. And it was like, shit, that's pretty easy. That worked as well. But I'm not interested in selling shit from Alibaba and AliExpress. I'm not interested in giving refunds for shit quality stuff, but the system worked. So I went, this is quite easy. Once you develop a strategy through trial and error, everything's easy. So I went, what I'm going to do is get rid of that. And I need good products. I'm only going to sell good products. I search for good products and I only like quality. I'll never sell anyone shit. And I struggled again. So I thought, fuck it, I'm going to build my own brand. So I built Swagger. And I thought, now I'm only going to have quality items. I'm going to put my business plan, my systems that already exist. I can franchise it. There's so many different things I can do with it. And I'm going to build that slowly over time because I know it works. I also, while I did this, while I built my first 3 or 4 different businesses, I also had people that come to me every day asking me to help them with their purpose and their passion, and they're building a business. And so many of them just said, can I do what you're doing? Whatever you're doing, I want to do that, you know? And I went, cool. So here, I'll teach you how to do the app business. Not many of them actually followed through with it because they didn't like the work. They hated it. And I went, that's because you've got to pick something that you're willing to do, you know, to win. So it pushed me into the place where I am now. So what's happened is all of a sudden I was resisting helping people. I was resisting coaching people in their own businesses because I didn't have time. And I just thought, that's not my focus. You want to learn how to build a business, or you want to scale your business, cool, go and hire a coach, go and work it out. I'll give you a hand and I'll talk to you. And before I knew it, I was talking so much and helping people so much that I just went, hang on, maybe this is what I like doing. Because whenever I'm building these businesses here, left, right, and center, I'm not as passionate about helping anyone because it's just me now. I know it works. So I've got a system that works. I created it. I built it. I can drop it on new things. I can create new wealth plans. I can create new businesses, whatever. But all of a sudden there's no fulfillment. So I'm like, I've got all these people around me that want help. I know what I'm doing. Why don't I just pull back and help them? And, you know, this comes from like problems and solving problems. As an entrepreneur, they get put in front of you. You start something and it works. And then a client comes to you with another problem. So you focus on that, and all of a sudden you have another income stream, or you have another business idea, or you go, I'm going to pivot my business now. We were going that angle, but all of my clients are having this issue. So how about we go this way? And basically that's what's happened with me. So my business has moved. My primary business has moved over now to coaching people in business. And it's everything from starting off, people that want to create a business from scratch that never have, the brainstorming, the passion, the purpose, the mindset, understanding the long game, right through to people that are struggling at cracking that next level, and they've been in business their entire life. So passion and purpose is not always what you think it is. That's my point. You know, if I've talked too long about it and I've confused you, please hit me up and say some messages. But it really is, it's very, very simple. It's like making money is very, very simple. There's a basic strategy. Don't overcomplicate it. Don't overanalyze it. Stop thinking so much. Stop always self-doubting yourself and saying, I really want to do this, but should I or could I? Just pick one thing and run with it. The best thing you can ever do is find out something that doesn't work, because you're closer then to something that does. Too many people want the shortcut. Just send me straight to what works. It never, ever works like that, because as soon as you're at that position where something does work, a new problem will present itself. Platforms will get closed. Items will get discontinued. All sorts of things will happen in business. You'll have customer relation problems. You'll have refunds. You'll get sued by somebody. Like, if you haven't done the work to get to that position where you need to be, you won't be able to handle those problems. And you'll always be asking, what do I do now? Okay, you've put me in a position where it's all working. And, you know, I would hate to be given a business that I had no idea about that's turning over massive money, and someone go, it's like winning the lotto. It's like someone saying, here you go, here's everything you've ever wanted. It'll fucking fall down in front of you like you'll never believe. You've got to build it. You've got to have the grit, the strength. You've got to have gone through so much shit that when something comes at you every day, which it will, you just deal with it. So I don't know if you guys have got any questions on that. I probably went off a little bit off track, but I'm very, very passionate about not overcomplicating everything. You know, there's a million business ideas out there. I get a million every day. Just make sure you got one. Make sure you're focused on one, and you're going to put a lot of effort into it, and that's your business plan. Stop picking 4 and trying to put half, 25% in all of them. What do we got here? I mean, you know what? It's the same as 75 hard. It's exactly the same. Everyone wants to do 75 hard because it's cool. You know, I want to tell everyone I'm doing 75 hard. It's only 75 days. It's very simple, and it is. What, 4 or 5 things a day? How much simpler could a mental toughness program be than that? If that's all you got to do every day, it's so fucking simple. Yet 90% of people, probably more, fail it. And they start it because they don't start it with the right passion. They don't start it for the right reason. They don't do it for themselves. You know, you've got to want to do it for yourself, because what you learn on 75 hard is everyone will go, yeah, you know, high fives. You're going to do 75 hard. Day 1, you're a legend. Day 2, good work. You know, day 3, you're going great. By the time you're at day 10, no one gives a shit. They're sick of hearing about it. I posted every day when I done my first 75 hard day program. The first 5 days, I had everyone saying, you know, that's excellent. You're a champion. You'll get it. You know, I believe in you. And I hate that shit. I hate people that tell me they believe in me when I've just started something. It pisses me off. But you get to day 10, day 15, people are sick of seeing it. They're like, oh, what, you're at day 16? Who cares? So all of a sudden you realize that, what am I doing this for? Who am I doing this for? I haven't seen any change. I'm 10 days in. Does anyone really care if I'm doing this? Maybe I should just stop. So this is where you learn everything about passion and purpose and wealth and fulfillment, because you have to be able to get through the hard times, and you have to be able to do it when no one else gives a fuck and when everything's coming at you, because every time you start something like that, every single excuse in the world will come out and you'll listen to them all. And the people that quit, what you've just done to your brain is you've given yourself an excuse now that you don't have to pass. You don't have to finish 75 hard. And you'll say to yourself, oh, I'm going to do it again later when it suits me. You know, when things are right. Things will never be right. You know, you have to go through everything. I pulled a muscle in my shoulder. It was terrible when I first started. I had it all taped, and everybody was saying to me, you can't keep doing this. You know, I think I was at day 7, and they went, what are you going to do? And I went, I'm just going to work a way out of it. You know, if I've got to run, if I've got to walk, if I've got to do steps, if I've got to do anything I can't quit. I won't quit. That's why 75 hard is so powerful. It's not about building a body. It's not even a fitness program. It's a mental toughness program. And that's what business is about. You have to be mentally tough. And how do you become mentally tough? You learn by your mistakes and you don't get put off by them. Go and fail at everything you can. Fail for 20 years. Doesn't matter. If you are so relentlessly passionate about continuing and not quitting, you're going to win. So again, I've jumped off course. Let me see if I've got any questions in here. Elizabeth, I seem to learn best by fucking things up. I found out what works best for me and what doesn't. So true. So true. I mean, how do you really know an answer unless you experience it? How do you, the worst thing that I've found, the worst thing is when something works, because then I go, why did that work? What did I actually do? What part of that step did I do? It's frustrating when I win at something because it doesn't give me, it's not what you think it is. Most people think it's like their passion and purpose. You know, everybody thinks it's going to feel really good. Everybody thinks when you get to that end result, when you're driving the car of your dreams, or when you've got the house of your dreams, or when you've got everything you want, that you're going to feel so good. It's not like that at all. It's like when I succeed at something, I'm pissed. But when I fail at something, I learn and I go, yes, okay, I know why that doesn't work. Be it relationships, be it in the gym, be it anything, you know, be it business. When you fuck something up with a client, when you're in a sales conversation and you say the wrong thing, when you do the wrong thing and you're working with someone, like, you know your mistake and you learn from it. It hurts, but pain is what drives you to become better at everything. So learn to love mistakes, learn to love failure. Don't be afraid of it, because too many people are so afraid to even start. They go, I want to start a business, but it's just got to be the exact perfect right one, and it's got to come at the exact perfect right day. The sun's got to be shining. My wife's got to be happy with me. You know, the kids can't annoy me, and it has to happen at 7 a.m. in the morning. It can't happen at 8 because I've got other shit that's going to happen at 8. And then I can't do it on Tuesdays or Thursdays. And, you know, anyway, you're right. You're right, Elizabeth. You learn everything from your mistakes. Yeah, Deidre, I know. See, some people say balance is not achievable, and you say it's imperative. I was one of those people. Sometimes I still am. Sometimes I still say, you know, when I don't balance everything 25%. If I've got my 4 areas that I'm basing my entire day on, sometimes I go 100% in business, and other times I go 100% in body, because I'm trying to shortcut. And I agree. It works to a certain degree, but it throws other things out. And what I find is sometimes if I put 25% into each of the 4 cores, it's a really slow process, and that's a long process, but it works over time. If you want to build a business because you have to, if there's a necessity to get out of a 9 to 5, or there's a necessity that you no longer have a job, then I'm 100% behind you to put 100% in that job. And I'm not, yes, you're still going to do stuff that keeps you healthy. And yes, you're still going to address those other areas, but your entire focus must be on something. And that's how I built my business. I ignored everything else. I did not, when I built my first company that went 7 figures, I did not concentrate on workouts. I did not concentrate on relationships. I did not concentrate on my mindset. I concentrated on business and building it, and it worked. Sure, when I got there, I went, fuck, what happened? What else happened around me? Everything else fell off, and so be it, whatever. Same as if you need to build a body. If you've got health problems and you're told you need to get fit, you need to lose weight, you need to do this, then fuck everything else. Fuck money, fuck everything else. Your life's at stake. 100% I will put into one of those core 4 areas. But when you get close to it, or when you get to that area where you need to self-reflect, then it is imperative. I agree, Deidre. It is imperative to come back and add those things, because if you haven't put any effort into your mindset, then you get all fucked up with mental health issues. And then you go through relationship issues, and then you go through anxiety and stress, and you name it, panic attacks, and they all come on, and you wonder where they all come from, but you created them. So, you know, there is a balance, but there's also sometimes a purpose to put more effort in one direction. Deidre, day 30 and day 50 were the hardest. Yeah. I wrote about my 75 hard. I journaled it every day, and I had some really tough days, and it was funny where they come in. I think one of my toughest days was about 68, like only had a week to go, and I really no longer give a fuck about it. And mentally my mindset had said, who cares? Like, why are you doing this? And that's that you got your strong voice and you got your weak voice. And when you start to burn all that energy and you start to get near the end of something, I think my fear was finishing. I didn't want to finish, because I thought, if I get to day 75, I'm done. I stop. What does that mean? Do I then go out and eat shit? Do I stop training twice every day? Do I stop reading? Do I stop 4 liters of water? Like, you start to have that fear. And this is where people get fear of success. They're afraid of what might happen if I actually achieve something. I had to do it twice, simply for that reason. My hardest day just before day 70 scared me so much that I went, I'm not going to stop. Fuck it. I'm just going to keep going. So when day 75 comes, I'll go, yippee, I've done it, but I'm not stopping. So I done it back to back and done 150 days. By then I was okay to stop. At 150, I went, fuck, that's enough. I need, just a break. Even though I maintained half or 3/4 of everything as I moved forward, I was happy to stop then. Wilbur, keep things simple, 100%. Everybody overcomplicates things. They all do it. I do it. We always need someone to just pull us back and say, whoa, stop, come back. Stop overanalyzing it. Just do the simple stuff, do it consistently, and things work. Consistency is everything. Man, if you're not prepared to fail, you don't deserve to succeed. I agree. And you can't. You cannot succeed if you do not fail. There is no one-way path straight to success unless it's by failing. Fail all the time and you will find that you're actually succeeding. You've got to learn what's not the right thing to do in order to be in the right place. I actually find the more times you fail, you're actually going up without knowing about it. I don't like looking at success. I don't like people telling me, you've made it, you've got success, you got everything, you got all these things. That really pisses me off, because inside me, if people that know me think I'm hard on them, you should see how hard I am on myself. It's the constant feedback I get from all of the coaches that I've hired, business coaches, mindset coaches. They always say to me, you're too hard on yourself. I know that. I know I'm hard on myself because I'm relentless at what I want to achieve. I know I can achieve it. So yeah, sometimes I'll be a little bit easier on myself if I'm being really nasty. And that's because my emotions have got me. But generally speaking, I have to be hard on myself because I'm inherently lazy. If I did what I wanted to do, I would do nothing. It's a struggle for me every day. I know I talk about doing the work. It's my business. Do the work. Do Work Foundation. Everything that I talk to someone about, it's you have to do the fucking work. I know it's hard. I know it's shit. You've got to do it. And people think, shit, you've got so much energy. You just love doing this. You're just one of them lucky people that really love doing the work. Oh, fucking trust me, I don't. Trust me, I would rather go out and lie on the lounge and do nothing. And I've done that before, and that doesn't work. So, yeah, fail. Andrew, that's just been difficult for me in business, figuring out why some things work so well, especially when it comes to marketing. It's tough for me to pick why it's working. 100%. Marketing's fascinating. I mean, it's all emotion. My first business was all about marketing. I realized what people wanted because I wanted it. So I built it. And all of a sudden, I didn't need to create any paid marketing. My entire business was built organically without paid marketing. Even now, I don't do any paid marketing at this stage. Everything is organic. But, to figure out why things go so well, quite often, the only way to do that is to test everything and find all your mistakes. So especially if you're marketing, you're A/B testing, you're doing some sort of strategy or plan, and you don't know why it's winning, start pulling a few things out and make it fail. Start trying to fail to find out, okay, that's why it's failing. And that's another way I look at things as well. I always reverse engineer anything that works to find out how I can scale something. When something's going really good, I mean, Facebook ads. A friend of mine, when I got into e-com and we were building all of these sites, selling shit out of China, which I don't even know if you can do that anymore now, but he was spending $100,000 to $200,000 a month on Facebook ads, and his profits or his returns in a month were, I think, $230K. So he was risking $200K every month on Facebook ads to make $30K. Now, most people, when they hear his story that he's making $30K a month profit, they're like, oh, that's pretty cool. It's $350,000 a year. That's a good business. But on the other hand, there's a lot of risk there. His $200K a month is being put. He knew everything that could possibly go wrong. He was an absolute genius at Facebook ads. So he knew everything, and he was testing every day. And the work he would do would be 10 hours of going through and culling ads and adding ads. And if ads aren't getting to that call to action area, or if the audiences aren't right, then he was a marketing genius in there. So, but the only way he got to that point was when he was smaller. He was working out what didn't work. And finally, when he worked out all of the things that didn't work, but he knew the thing that did, then he scaled and went from 2 or 3K a month to 200K a month. Obviously, the greatest thing about his business was not even the 30K a month that he was building. His actual profit plan was he used an American Express card and got 3 points per dollar spent on Facebook ads. So he was getting 600,000 points a month. So he was on about 7 million points a year, and that got him all of his travel, accommodation, meals, basically paid for his life in first class to live a life of, without having to spend any money. And then at the same time, he's making 30K a month into his bank. So, there's lots of other ways to monetize businesses once you work out that small, simple thing. Cool. So I've as always, I've gone on a little bit more than I wanted to, but I just wanted to, don't wait for the passion and purpose to come up. Do something that you like doing. Do something that you're good at. Do something, fix someone's problems. That's really what it is. What pisses you off? So for me right now, when people go, what pisses you off? I'm quite happy to say, what pisses me off right now? Undriven men that have no masculinity, men that won't stand up for their own life. They won't build something. They won't build their body to protect their family. They already think, middle-aged men think they're too old. They're unhealthy. They're unfit. They've given up. That pisses me off. And I've got friends that are like that, and they piss me off. And I want them to be a better man because I know they are a better man. So I want them to get back that, the alpha that they once were, get back the masculinity, get back the drive, get the passion. Because what they don't understand is that brings back their relationship. All of a sudden, the wife that no longer fucks them and doesn't want to be with them, they think that their life's shit and they're just going to put up with it. And I'm like, dude, go back to what you like doing. Become yourself. You know, get your masculinity back. Get back out in the bush. Get back out camping. Get back out hunting. Do all the things that you used to like doing. Ride your motorbike. Stop running around at home like a fucking baby boy and complaining about how bad your relationship is. Like that's something that really pisses me off. So I love talking about it. I love speaking to people and changing their entire life around that side of what they want. Because quite often, a lot of men, I find this all the time, a lot of men come to me and say, can you help me build a business? Can you help me make money? And I go, cool. What do you want to make money for? And we start to talk. And 20 minutes later, we're talking about their relationship. We're talking about how often they have sex with their wife, how much it frustrates them, how they feel that they're no longer the man they used to be. And all of a sudden, we've got into the real cause of why they've rang me. And if I try and say, you realize what you just said, you know you don't really want to make money. I can tell you what it's like to make money. I can tell you what it's like to have all the money in the world, where I had a conversation with Jake and I said, Jake, I think I want to buy a Ferrari. Let's go and test drive Ferraris. I remember it. And Jake said, what do you want that for? And I thought, well, hang on, you're a young kid. You should love that. And he goes, Dad, what are you going to do? Drive me down to school in a Ferrari? And I thought about that and I thought, yeah, fuck, I'd look like a wanker if I did that. Like, here's me talking to my son and he laughed at me. And he goes, we talked about it and I talked about it with my brother and I went, you know, what do I really want? I want a truck. I want a big truck that I can go out in the bush. I can go camping, hunting, fishing. I can go outdoors. I can throw shit on the back. I can jump in my shed. I can take stuff to the dump. Like, that's the stuff that I love doing. And in order to get rid of that small little bullshit thing about this Ferrari, I just went and hired one for the day and drove it, and it was awesome, and that was it. It was out. Cool, Ferrari was good, but that's not what I want. So quite often, if you haven't gone through that process yourself, if you haven't made enough money to realize, and don't get me wrong about cars, I love cars and supercars and everything, and there's a place for them. Like, a friend of mine loves them, and I've talked to him and I said, dude, you've got to get one. You have been super passionate about supercars since you were 14. Your goal, you have to own one of them. I wasn't. So I was super passionate about motorbikes and trucks and traveling and all those things. And that's what I do. But he was so passionate about supercars that that's one of the goals that he will achieve. And I love that. But, you know, it comes back to simply, I don't even know what I was talking about then. I went on a bit of a rave. Let me see what other questions I got here. Elizabeth, have you Wilbur making men? 100%. So Will's creating a company, a business now around his passion, making men. He loves I'll let Will bring this out when he launches it, but there's a lot of stuff there in his background that have put him in this direction. And all of a sudden, he's willing to put in all of the effort in the world because he loves it. It's no longer chasing money. It's now being purposeful and fulfilled and being happy and doing stuff every day. 100%. It's going to be great, Wilbur. Will you be doing a Facebook Live on how men can become more masculine and alpha? I can. I mean, that's the shit that I love talking about. I find I start off, like I said, on a business conversation about money, because men, as soon as they're unhappy, unfulfilled, they're not getting everything that they want at home, they believe that they need more money. And they think, if my wife or my girlfriend sees me making more money, then she will want me more. They don't. It doesn't happen like that. Yeah, girlfriends that chase money and shiny lights, it's like, you know, having all these Instagram models and all that stuff. Sure. If you're looking for a girlfriend and you're a single guy, they do love the money. They do love all the shiny lights and all the glamour and all the bullshit. But that's not who I deal with. I deal with men that are married or in relationships, or who have broken up, or who are in stuck relationships. And they believe the answer is because they don't make more money. And I always say to them, I go, fuck, dude, how much money were you making when you met her? Did she give a fuck about what business you did when you met her? No. You were an alpha when you met her. You didn't do everything she wanted you to do. You didn't answer every time she sent you a text. You didn't play all these feminine fucking games, and I'm sorry, but they are. As a man, you have to have a purpose and you have to play your game. And that attracts your wife back. If you go back to being you, because now you don't go out. You don't go out and hang out with your mates. You don't do all the things that men are supposed to do. It's the same as women. Some people get stuck in this relationship and I see them, they're just that couple all the time. And then they'll say, yeah, we're not really happy. And I'll go, well, fuck, how often do you have a girls' night out? When do you go back out and talk shit with the girls? And to the men, when do you go out and talk with the guys? Like, you have to be able to keep what you had when you first met, because everybody loses it. And, you know, a strong woman will often try to break a man. She will bring him in and she will go, I want that guy. He's the alpha I want. And, you know, he plays hard and he does all these things, and that's the attracting thing. And then when she gets her hands on him, she tries to break him and change him and wear this and change this. And that man, because men want to do the right thing by their wife, they let it happen. And before they know it, 10 years is gone. The woman doesn't know what she's done to the man. She's wondering why he's such a fucking pussy and he doesn't do anything anymore. And the man's wondering why he's fucked everything up and he can't do anything right anymore. And they're both sitting there wondering what's going on. And I mean, what happens is those guys come to me. And don't get me wrong, I've been that man. I'm not putting those guys down. I've done the exact same thing. I went through it. But they look for the answer in money because they can't possibly see past their ego to see what they've done or see past their pride. So they go, it's got to be money. I need to make more money. But anyway, it doesn't happen. We end up working on them, building them back up. And they realize that money is not the be all and end all. Although a lot of people do want money, like myself, and I love creating wealth, but it doesn't bring the fulfillment if that's what you think it's going to do. If you think having a lot of money is going to make you fulfilled, it doesn't. Not that there's anything wrong with having it all. I mean, my goals were to travel the world. So I wanted to travel the world, work from a laptop. That takes a lot of money. So I had to build a lot of money. Was I happy? Fuck yeah, I was happy, because I was in Paris, I was in Italy, I was in London, I was in America, I was in Canada, I was in Spain. I traveled the world. I sat there with my laptop, and every time I opened it, I went, fuck, this is the life. This is what I wanted. I created it. But if you don't have that as your dream, if you just say, I want to make a shitload of money, that's like someone saying, okay, here's $1 million. There you go. How's your life? You know, does your wife still like you? Does she give a shit that you've just got $1 million? Because I've helped people build business and make money, and their life hasn't changed. Their wife still left them. So 100%. But yeah, I do love talking about that stuff. And most of my day around potential clients ends up, you know, I mean, that's a huge thing. It's a huge thing for a guy. That's why I love it. That's why it pisses me off that so many people won't look into their masculinity. And I'm not saying everyone has to. And, you know, maybe 80% of the world doesn't agree with that. Maybe 80% of the world think that I'm an asshole for thinking every man should be an old school masculine man who goes out and gets shit done and is purpose driven and whatever. But that's me. That's what I love. That's what I love to coach people in. And I don't really give a fuck what other people think. And neither should you, whatever your business is. Whatever pisses you off is a really great place to start, because you won't quit when it gets hard. Okay, you just dropped me 3 to 4 years ago, Andrew. Yeah, 100%. And you know, it's when you become conscious and you become awake from all this stuff, and you just realize that, fuck, I've got to change. How can a mother help a son to grow up to be a strong man? The son doesn't have any other influence to help him become a man he needs to. 100%, Elizabeth. That's a struggle that a lot of women that are in separated households have to work out. I agree. That's a tough thing. How do you have a manly influence? I mean, I know a lot of women that just, they wish they had a masculine man that would come in and, you know, help them with their kids. But at the end of the day, quite often the men that come into their lives have either got their own kids, or you know, you're still looking for someone else to solve that problem. And I get it. I 100% get it. And sometimes, you know, if there's another strong member in the family, an uncle or a close friend or someone else that you can have that conversation with, and they could come over and take the boys fishing or hunting or just out every now and then. I mean, that's having that sort of mentor, or, I mean, there's a group there. That there, if that pisses you off so much, that's a business idea. Imagine that, whether it's a single mother or whether it's a broken family, whatever you want to, however you want to package that, but mothers that want their sons to grow up to be stronger. Imagine if you created that group. Imagine if you built something out of that and brought in some strong men as influencers into a group and taught those mothers and women how to do that. That's massive. I mean, I don't want to go on, but that's the sort of stuff that I just see potential, huge potential. I mean, I know you asked the question and I straight away took it 5 levels further about a business idea, but that is a problem that needs to be solved. And, if I look back at, olden days, like my mum would say, you know what, one day I realized that I had to say to myself, I'm just going to have to do everything myself. Because she said, I talked to her about this and she said, my dad used to work. He was at work all day, every day. There was 5 kids in my family. So I had 4 siblings, and mum was a stay-at-home mum. And she struggled. And she said when she got to this point where she struggled and she doesn't know what to do. It's so hard trying to manage all these kids and do school and everything while dad's off traveling the world, which he did a lot, and work, that she just said one day, she just said to herself, you know what, I've just got to do it. As hard as this is my life. I have to work out a way to do it. And I think a lot of kids in our generation were brought up with our mum. So we were brought up, and maybe we lost a lot of that masculine touch there because we didn't have someone taking us out to cut wood and someone taking us out to the properties to hunt. I mean, I did get that. I got taken out to hunt foxes and, skin foxes when I was 5 years old, and shoot rabbits and learn how to cook rabbits, and not just the hunting, but camping and fishing and being in the bush. So I got to experience all that. But I think a lot of people didn't. And as much as it would be fantastic not for you have to be the one, because you don't know how to bring up a man from a boy, I think you actually do. And that's why you'll find yourself in groups where there's a lot of men and a lot of masculinity, because that question that you asked there is super powerful. I mean, you go and ask that question in men's groups, go and search for men's groups, go into other entrepreneurial groups and just ask that question and get 10 different answers, and you'll find something there that will help you. But honestly, I think you've just got to sometimes take that ball up yourself. What else do you do? You got to do that work there. I worry that my son doesn't have a good male influence in his life. I agree. But don't take that too negatively, because I can say on the other hand, I know a lot of families where there's a male and a female still together in a relationship, and he's not a good influence anyway. I know a lot of men that don't do shit with their kids, stacks of them. I know a lot of men that I see people that have been married 10 and 20 years. And when I go out and train with Jake, or when I go to soccer training or football training, or when I take him anywhere surfing, it's mum that's got those sons out there. Mum's down at the beach with them, teaching them surfing, or mum's at soccer training, or mum's here. So don't think that it's any harder that you've got to do it, because that's the biggest problem out there. Too many dads don't take an interest in their own kids. And quite often they wonder why they're unfulfilled, and they wonder why they're not happy in their relationship, because even when they're married, mum's sitting there looking at them thinking, you don't even fucking help. You don't even care about your children. They do. They inherently love their children, but they are built on this theory that they have to work. And a lot of men work super hard, but they've never sat down and said, if I work 10 and 12 hours a day, and if I bring in this much money, and it allows us to have a better house, and allows us to have 2 cars, and it allows us to pay for schooling for our child, and it allows us to have good, healthy food and all these things, is that what you want? Because quite often men in relationships don't have that conversation. So they end up breaking up saying, I did all this, I worked hard, I done everything right for the family. We had it really well. We had a lot of money coming in, but she left me. Because you never sat down and asked, is this what you want? Because she would probably say no. We don't need all that shit. We don't need 2 cars. We don't need this fancy house. We don't need all those extra things. What we need is you to be here and you to play with your children and you to be in the family. And that's a tough pill for men to swallow if they're purpose driven. And that's where I like to come in and say, this is perfect, because this is where we can build a business around your life. Build a business around a passion that you want. Do you want more time? You want more freedom? You want a better relationship? Then build a business that suits that. You create your own life. It's fascinating that people don't understand you can do that. They're stuck in their ways. They're so afraid of making a mistake. They're so afraid of doing anything that's outside the ordinary because of the risk of what they might lose, that they never, ever have a go at creating the life that they want. If you just went, fuck, I've got too much shit. I don't need all this stuff. I need to create the life I want. So I'm going to cut all of the expenses and I'm going to go down to the bare bones and I'm going to work out this is how much money I need. I got a client right now that knows that to a T. So we've got 6 figures and we know exactly what his yearly income is to live. We know the figure and it's nothing like you would expect. So straight away we can say, cool, if that's all we need, we can blow this business up very quickly and all of a sudden you've created the life you want. Then we scale it and then we go past what you were earning over time and all of a sudden you've just created the life you want by stepping out of the bullshit that you've lived. Too many people get stuck and it's simply a mindset. They're afraid to fail. You can't be afraid to fail. And don't get me wrong, I will often say to people, go and do it. You know, someone asked me a question, a flippant question on social media. Hey, I want to do this. Do you think I should? And I'll go, yeah, fuck, go do it. And they're like, yeah, I'm going to go do it. But if someone says to me, I'm going to quit my job and I'm going to follow my purpose and I'm going to create a business, you don't just quit one and jump into another. I know a lot of people will say that, you know, you've got to go and do this. You've got to plan it. I mean, I had my full-time job and I built my company for a year, maybe 3 years in reality, but that actual company for a year, every night and every weekend, before it was anywhere near in a place that I could move on from one to the other. So you don't just drop one and run off to do the other. You plan it out. And that's why side hustles, I don't really like talking about side hustles because to me, they're like a little bit of extra income. I used to have them. I used to work out a way to make $100 a week. And then I'd build another little $100 a week. And when I had 3 or 4 of these, I thought, yeah, that's a good little top up to my salary. I would rather now say to someone, don't call it a side hustle, call it your business. Because you want to put everything you can into this. If it's a side hustle, you don't care about it, you'll fail. If you start a little side business and someone talks to you and I say, so how's your business going? They go, oh yeah, haven't done much with it. You know, I've got a multi-level marketing thing, but I don't really put a lot of effort into it. Because they're afraid or because it's not giving them the results they want, or for whatever reason, they're told how to go and post, you know, all of their posts on social media, which if everyone in the same company is doing the same thing. So they don't understand social media marketing and they're just following what they're taught to do, which is crazy. So they give up and then when you talk to them about it, they go, I'm not really putting in a major effort. So I like to say, don't have a side hustle. If you've got a job and you want to build a business, have a business and put all of that effort in that business and blow it up until it's at a place where it can take over what you want. And then you've just created the life you want. And I don't disagree with people that want jobs and careers either, because I did that for 20 years and I pursued a career. So quite often I work with people that want to pursue a career and I won't talk them out of that. They don't need to have a side business, but you can still do a lot of marketing and pursue the career that you want as well. But it's just not for me. I want the life I want because I put in more effort than anyone else I've ever worked with. So as long as I've worked in any job, I've always realized that I put in so much more effort and I don't get the results that I think I should. So I've got to go and prove to myself that is the case. And it was the case and it still will be. But it's super hard to leave a job where someone tells you what to do every day and all you are is a reactive person where you go to work and you do what you're told all day. It's super hard if you have no initiative to go and run your own business because no one tells you to do shit. No one tells you you've got to jump on and do that call today. Remember, 11 a.m. today, you're going to do a live call in a free group that you've created to help people. Because if you don't have that drive and initiative and passion to help people and to really want to do it, you won't. And then you'll give up and you'll say, I just need to get a job again. And you'll go back to the life that you hate. Again, off track, Anthony, off track. Cool. Okay, so that's probably enough on that. I've gone way over. Hope I didn't overcomplicate it. What was Jay also threw a question up about growth challenges and just said, what are some other growth challenges that you've completed? And, you know, I just thought about this quickly. Offhand, I can't really think of any other challenges or programs like 75 Hard that I've created, that I've completed. I'm sure I have. I'm sure there's been lots of things that have pushed me through, but I started to think back and I thought, well, you know what? There's a few things that actually I had done in the past that allowed me to complete 75 Hard. And when I go back to earlier on in my teens, I wanted to be a black belt. So it was a passion of mine to fight. I did a lot of boxing for years. Then I got into kickboxing. I got into karate. And then we started to go 5 nights a week training for 4 or 5 years. And my goal was to become a black belt. Now that was tough because I was working, and then at the end of work, we had to drive 40 minutes to, you know, the city and train every night for 2 hours and then drive home. And we did this 5 nights a week for about 4 or 5 years. So to me, that's an example of a growth challenge, a goal to get the black belt. Back then in the Van Dam days, you know, everyone wanted to be a black belt. It was like, cool, who wants to get that? And that led to me then opening up one of my first businesses before I was 20, which was a dojo. So we created a fighting dojo then, and we started to train other people to become, you know, in self-defense and kickboxing. And then I went and had fights in the ring, and all those things come after it. But those are the types of things. Achieving anything comes from discipline and consistency. And those things that I did on earlier on in life, I got reminded of when I was on 75 Hard, because when it got really hard and tough, I had to say to myself, what am I doing this for? Who am I doing it for? What do I want to get out at the end of it? And it was purely confidence. It was purely self-belief that if I can achieve this, this is one of the hardest fucking things you can do. And if I can achieve this, then I will have much more self-confidence in everything I do, in everything. And it is that. And I mean, that was like my black belt. What other things? I mean, even social media. So if you want to play the game of social media, whether you want to be an influencer or whether you just want to post and get likes or comments, if you get emotional about how many likes and comments you get, if you're not doing it for the right reasons, if you're not doing it for you, you're going to fail. So many people start doing all these things on social media, and then after a few months, they think, oh, I'm not getting any traction here. I'm not getting anywhere. So I'm going to log out and I'll see you guys in a few months. I'm done with it. And it's like, you'll be back. So they go away and then they come back, and they go away and they come back. And it's like, just persevere with it. What are you doing it for? Do you just want the likes? Do you want the dopamine hit when someone likes and comments on your shit? Or are you actually doing it because you care and you want to help people? It's a massive thing. Or is it a business? Is it a strategy? Are you doing what's part of your business? Become consistent at it. It's simple like that. And I think that's a challenge that's hard. So, you know, 75 hard, simple. Simple. There's 4 or 5 things to do. Like, it's hard as fuck to do, but it's simple. Same as making money, same as building a business, same as keeping a relationship together. You do the simple shit, but you do it consistently, and you show up every day and you do it as the best you can. And over time it works. So I don't really have any other growth challenges, so to speak, like 75 hard, but that's, you know, I look at all things, even breaking down my business, looking at how did I work out marketing? How did I work out advertising? How did I work out sales calls? How did I work out all of these things? And they're all the same as 75 hard. You write down the 3 or 4 simple things that you need to do, and then you do them, and you do them over and over and over again, and you don't quit. I mean, that's like entrepreneurship or life, really, isn't it? Whatever you want to talk about, if there are things that you want to bring up and talk about in the calls, just let me know. I'll tend to come on at this stage. I've still got times where I'm able to do 11 a.m. on a Tuesday Australian time for now. So I'll either post the day before or an hour before or something, and just say, if you got any questions, throw them up, and then we can chat about them. But otherwise, get in the group, ask the questions in this group and other groups, and let's try and get everyone moving forward. Okay, guys, take care. I'll talk.